Hello Sparkle family, and welcome to another pick a card video. Today we are going to try something different, and before we get to the pick a card piles, if you're interested, we're going to do a little shuffle and pick out the piles ahead of time. So you're welcome to go to the timestamps below if you want to go to where you choose your pile, but if you would like, right now we're going to use the different tarot, oracle, and spirit animal cards that I'm going to use, and we're going to shuffle the piles. So we're going to start with this beautiful True Love deck that I have, and I'm going to link the decks in the description box. And typically the way that I like to shuffle and deal with the cards, is to let them speak to me. So for pile 1, we're just going to shuffle until, there we've got another one. All right. Okay, Sparkle family, so we are ready now to pick the piles. So we have pile 1 on this side here, which we're going to have my fun little kitty Littlest Pet Shop if you need a little helper in choosing your piles. And then we're going to go pile 2 here on your right with the little puppy Littlest Pet Shop. I love Littlest Pet Shop, and I've been on a collector kick recently, so I thought it could be fun. And while you guys are focusing on choosing, I'm also going to pull one Prism Oracle for the general vibes of this reading. And now you can just also choose based on vibes, what calls out to you. If you watched the shuffling of the cards, maybe you felt the energy during the shuffling. Oh, magic. We love to see that. So overall, we're looking at magic for this reading. And when you're ready, I'll see you in your pile. Okay, pile 1. If you chose my cute little cat, we'll put her over here so she can watch your reading. Then this is for you. Today we're working with some beautiful, beautiful cards, and we're going to get a general sense for not only the blessings that are in your corner, but how you might be able to apply the current resources that you have, and also become aware of ones that you may have access to that you might be overlooking, and how we can unify those two things. So, starting off, we're going to start with the spirit animal for our reading, and that is the moth. So when we think about a moth, we think about, well, the first thing I think about is a moth to a flame, right? We are drawn to the things that we desire, and sometimes that can make us blind. And that's not necessarily something that we're doing in an aware state. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but when you take your eye off of the flame, right? Say you're looking into this candle. When you look away from it, you become aware of other things. For example, here's a better way to visualize. If you remember on the Wii, they had a meditation game that you could play, and it was looking into a flame. It was really challenging of a game to stay focused on the candle flame, but the idea was you zoomed in on that and out on everything else, or the other way around. Basically, you're unaware of what's happening around you. And so something that could be beneficial for you in this time is, even though you've seen the light, look at what's around you, look at what's catapulting you to grasp onto that and to help get you to the other side of the finish line. So moving forward from here, let's take a look at our first tarot card. We have the 8 of Coins. I think something that's going to end up happening a lot on this channel is I'm going to end up talking about how the color symbolism is so important in tarot readings and oracle readings, and look at the alignment here of how these themes carry through each deck, because none of these decks are related. So that's just something that I find a little bit of joy in while I'm reading. But the 8 of Coins talks about planning, craftsmanship, can mean the ambition to a goal that you're working for. It can mean apprenticeship or even new jobs, new opportunities. And so the moth to a flame could come into play here, where maybe there's a new career opportunity, whether that's in the traditional or untraditional sense, that someone has offered to you that you kind of just shot down. And maybe you didn't even mean to do that, but say they came to you and were like, you know, I have this really cool thing that I think you might be interested in. And you were just like, no, I'm doing something else. It could be worthwhile to take stock of, oh, you know, maybe that is something that I could check out. Maybe that would be a fun thing to try to do with my life, to get some perspective and some new experience, and also income, right? Because if we look at the next card, the 6 of Coins, so we're really focused on our finances coming up and up, but it's coming through attention to detail, community, being vigilant, following through with our plans, saving our money and investing it in the correct place, but also being smart with our moves financially. And that could also be whether you're paying or not. This here says to me that you could be bartering, right? You could be trading your skills. That's something that I think, especially in the creative field, is almost underutilized. If you have a skill that's worth a certain amount of money per hour that's taking you a lot of your life to develop, then that's something that you could be trading someone else for. A perfect example of this is in my own life. An example for you guys is that my good friend and tattoo artist for many years when I lived in Florida, I would do photos for her, whether it was creatively or whatever she wanted, and then she would tattoo me. And that worked out so well because both of our crafts are not developed overnight nor cheap. So it was fun for us and we got to develop our friendship. So that's something that you could not be seeing. Do you have a worthwhile skill that you could be trading for things? Maybe there's a trip you really want to go on to. Could you do something for that company in exchange to getting a cheaper rate or a free trip? Those are things to really think about and to evaluate. And to evaluate those things, though, you have to be aware of them. So maybe even taking time to sit down and look at your finances and all the streams of income that you could have could be beneficial to you. Moving on, then we have the Three of Swords. This can be an inner battle in accepting the way that our life is changing or the ways that we can make income. So maybe it's a loss that we didn't see coming. So maybe we got catapulted out of a situation that we really liked that was financially stable for us, and now we're having to look at these options for ways outside of our control. But it's note that all of these swords in the imagery are there to just be taken. And so when we switch our mindset, we can see not only do we have many opportunities available to us for our success, but we have also many people to support us to the success and many pathways to get there. That's crazy. You really can't you really can't make that up, you know? Um, wow. It's not even a question that wherever you're going is going to lead to abundance in some form, most likely in the form that you were asking it for. Because, I mean, look, seriously, the prosperity is basically a given at this point, and it's just about where are you putting your energy in this process. Are you really putting in the effort in all of the situations that arise? Are you shooting your shot for that alternative employment opportunity that we were talking about? Are you excited about it? Those are things to ponder on, and then know that part of the reclaiming control of that is the action that you take and the way that you're thinking about the processes that you're going to take. And part of that can come from self-respect. We have to respect ourselves and the places that we want to go and the things that we want to achieve to be able to keep pursuing them. And it's a cycle. It will keep giving back to itself. You believe in yourself, you go after the things that you want. You feel good about it and you're pouring that good energy into it, and it makes it easier to make decisions. Making decisions leads you on a path that brings you to an outcome, and even if it's a failure, you know that it isn't going to bring you to the abundance that you're looking for. So being able to nourish those pathways that boost yourself and the ways that you believe in yourself can be the key. It can be one of the keys. And lastly, we have the divine masculine. So part of this can also be, and again with the link of imagery and color symbolism specifically, we can really bring out the energy that we need, that we even feel like we might be lacking, by channeling more of our masculine energy. We all have this synergy of feminine and masculine energy, and being able to distinguish how we can bring those vibes, that energy out of ourselves and bring it to the projects that we're doing, it will serve us well. Like, for example, the masculine enjoys getting results or experiencing a physical outcome from the effort, utilizing art or music as a rich embellishment to honor the feminine energy that flows through the creation. So, bringing that specific energy, maybe even looking up different meditations or sounds that can help you tap into that the next time that you're creating. Those things will help you, and those things will help you see what you might be missing, the tools that you can utilize that are around you, and how you can make that work for your highest good and the goals that you're trying to achieve. Okay, pile 2. If this is the pile you chose with the little dog, we're going to put him up here so he can hang out with us. I've been obsessed with Littlest Pet Shop recently. I can't stop buying them. I'm a true collector at heart. But in this reading, we're looking at things that are in front of us that we may not be aware of, and that includes tools or resources to get us towards a goal that we're working to. So maybe there are things that have become available to us that we aren't aware of, and this reading is here to help us shed light on those things. So we're going to start off with a spirit animal card, and we have the dragonfly. Very cool, actually, because the first pile had the moth and very light, delicate vibes. Dragonflies are actually a childhood critter for me. Or I don't know if critter's the right word, but insect. Because in Florida, they're around very often, especially in the summertime. And they're nice, you know. They're definitely a little skittish, but they fly up to you. They'll land on you. They aren't going to sting you. And they're just in the moment. I think that's the best way to put it. And usually in the moments that I've ever encountered them, I am as well. And I'm just appreciating the fact that, oh, there's a dragonfly and it might land on me. So I would pay attention to the places that you can land. Maybe there are corners of your social circles that you're not approaching, or people who want to support you that you haven't reached out to. And it's interesting because it's so similar to the first pile in that it's about awareness. It's about, what do I have available to me, but really looking at what places want me to be around, right? Like, what are the people when I fly up to them that are like, oh, come and land on me, that are putting out their hands and wanting me to stop and have a moment with them, versus people who are not paying attention. So that's something to start opening your eyes to. And one way to do this is, for example, at social events, you could pay attention more to who wants to start a conversation with you, who's lingering, who's wanting to chat it up with you. We have the Queen of Wands. So this is an ownership of power. And again, the beautiful continuation of this blue color through both cards. It's a little more fiery, this energy, but she's sure of who she is, and she's always going to show up as who she is. She's not going to walk into a room and try and walk up to the popular people that are in the room, right? She's there to be herself. She's magnetic. She's friendly. She's rooted in honor, and she's successful. So This could also mean, in the context of this reading, there are some very powerful figures that are in your corner that are sure of themselves, that are also sure of you. And so when you ask them for assistance or you lean on them, it opens opportunities for you. And we have the Ace of Coins. So again, with abundance, right? We're looking at how the people in our lives, but ourselves as well, can contribute to our success. And so from nourishing the connections with the prominent people in our lives, we can find prosperity. One way that you could attain this, for example, is maybe you're friends with someone who owns a business and they really like the ideas that you've been putting out lately, and they really need a new event to happen on Tuesday nights because that's their worst night and they have to avoid closing for one day of the week. And so together you team up because you've been drawing a lot lately and teaching people how to draw. And so together you have a drawing event at the cafe, right? Now, this is just a total hypothetical situation, but just even having a conversation with someone that you maybe wouldn't have before because you didn't think that they were wanting to be running in the same circles as you, you can find such overlapping interests and opportunities. I've had conversations with people where 15 minutes in, we're talking about some niche area of my hometown that somehow they've been to and have a personal memory at. That's a connector, you know? And then that also brings you closer to the people in your life and the connections. It makes them more genuine and it makes them more memorable. And that also brings more opportunity because, especially in the creative community, you want to work with people you like. Judgment. Now, in the context of what we're talking about here, I just would avoid thinking that you know everything and thinking that you are on any kind of pedestal above other people, right? It's easy to get in our head, especially when we've created something wonderful, but there's always something to be learned, and there's always things that we don't know, and there's always things that we can improve on. So even when you do start to get the ball rolling, especially with someone prominent, don't let that get to your head either, because, you know, the minute that you start bragging about the connection that you have with the person, it starts to leave the world of authenticity and enter something else. And you don't want to also tarnish the opportunities and the people in your corner because of something a little silly, you know? Movement. So, really moving. What does that mean, right? Making movement in our projects. So, taking actionable steps to make them real. Movement in networking, going out to meet new people in new places that will bring us new opportunities, right? Movement in a shift of thought process, reminding ourselves that we are worthy to be in the rooms that we're at. And space. Give yourself space to let your ideas come to light and give other people space to, I don't want to say miss you because I don't want to get into a place where I'm telling you to play games with people, but absence makes the heart grow fonder. And when you're able to play something strategically, if it's for an artistic project, for example, your investors are going to be a lot more interested if you can leave that space for longing and interest. So how can we get there? Forgiveness. So take that as you will. What I'm hearing is forgiving yourself. And of course, it says I forgive myself, but really forgiving ourselves for maybe we had an idea that we didn't follow through with and we're really stuck on that. Or maybe we had an idea that just failed and we're really stuck on that. Those, whatever it might be, forgiving ourselves, and even forgiving ourselves for maybe things that we didn't know or wrong paths that we chose before, will give us a clean slate, and the space to move with our ideas, right? It will also give us serendipity. And look at that. crazy. Serendipity. So it's all connected, and the moves that we make for ourselves are, they're just always going to pay off, right? When we move with intention, when we move with dignity, and when we leave space for growth and opportunity, especially new opportunity and unexpected things, we achieve serendipity. And I even love the fact that this almost looks like the Queen of Wands just kind of like flying around over here. But you are capable. You're capable of landing where you want to be. So take flight, land often, and when you're ready to keep going, keep going. You know, a dragonfly almost even reminds me of kind of like play Frogger with the places that they land. They're just always going. Again, the constant movement, right? They go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next. But it's done with intention, it's done with vision and a path. And so when you do that and you bring people along for the ride that are doing the same thing, it becomes jubilant. I'm going to have to start fact checking my words here as I'm making videos, but you know, you're filled with joy, and the people on your path are too. So I hope that this was helpful, Pile 2, and I hope that you will leave a comment, subscribe, and I hope that you will go with grace and apply this insight to your life.